tonight. I have a bit of a tickle cough today, so I do apologize for that. I guess let's see what we're working on next. All right. Hopefully you guys can hear me and see me okay. I suppose I could put on my little headphones. Alrighty. So I think we are all good to go. So I think I found out that it's actually not my headphones, it's my speaker port that's a little bit wonky. I was having problems with my headphones last week, and I think it's just the speaker port. My headphones seem to be fine, which is good, since I recommend them to you guys. They're doing really, really well, so I love my headphones. All right. Awesome. Thank you, Mina, for giving me a shout. You guys can hear me, see me. Okay. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Butch. Hi, Steve. Hi, Vivian. Hey, Mellow Yellow. Oh, where'd it go? It jumped. Hi, Michelle. Steve, I am doing well today. A little bit stressed, but otherwise doing okay. All right. Hi, Angela. Hi, Zona. Hi, Estella. Hi, Rich. So glad you guys can be here tonight. I think my allergies are kicking in a little bit early, so I'm a little coffee sneezy, but otherwise doing okay. All right. So tonight we are going to continue working on this funny fellow here, and I think we'll just dive right into the upper part of the hat. I did turn these on a little bit ago, and I think we can just go ahead and start right into that. So I know we did a lot of fine detail work in here last week and made these cute little house elements, and then we started towards the end, we started on the mushroom cap of his cap, and we definitely have some strong wood grain going through there, so we'll just kind of make do on that and see how we do. So I think tonight, to start with, I'm going to block in this dark area here where his hat meets kind of the overhanging rest of his face. What are you doing? Whoa, Bobby. No. Whoa, that was close. Hi. You can't step on that. It's really hot. Okay, you can go down. Go down. That's a good girl. Did your brother steal your bed? He did. Okay. What a big bully, huh? Alrighty. Thanks, Mina. I think the hat's looking really fun, too. And then keep in mind, there is a little bit of a weird angle. This is probably more true to what the piece looks like, but it is a little bit askewed. So, hi, Meta. Yeah, cats being cats. Chipper likes to snuggle with his sister, meaning lay on her and bite her until he takes her bed. So, okay. So let's see here about readjusting this a tiny bit so you guys have a better view. No. Oh, jeez. Chipper, hi. You can't jump on those either. Come on. Gosh. All right, so they're down. That's better. I think we'll be okay, guys. It's raining cats. They're everywhere. Okay, so we're just going to block in this dark area here and see what we can do. Without further ado, just use a point that's holds the heat really well and has kind of some softer edges to it. Yeah, he just, like, almost landed on the tray of hot burners. Catastrophe. So, I don't know. You guys can see the house is a bit of a mess. This big old box back here, right there, has, like, stuff for the cats. Because they are just going crazy. And we started to let them outside a little bit. But anyway, it's to help them climb and give them a little bit of enjoyment for inside the house. So hopefully they'll have a good time. It's like wall furniture or something. Just some little planks and boards and things like that for them to climb on. After 3 kids, our house is not perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead and have my husband help me install those into the wall, and it'll be fine. Lots of fun. So this is fairly dark in here, and I just want to make sure that I try to keep more of a soft edge as I work so that I can blend some of these areas together a little bit later. Yeah, I've seen those, Lisa. I think they're pretty cool too. Hopefully the cats will like them and then not, I don't know, have a better way to get up and down off of my big office hutch so that they don't jump on the wood burners. I'm just hoping it'll be a little bit safer for them. Hey, Tracy. So I've kind of been volunteered to help out with one of my kids' sports programs, and I did sign up as a volunteer, and they've asked me to be head coach. So one of the reasons I'm a bit frazzled today is this is all coming to fruition, and I'm realizing that it is a big responsibility and not really what I had signed up for, but we are going to make the most out of it and just see what we can do. Yeah. And I'll love spending time with my kiddo, and I mean, I know the sport inside and out, but it's been, I've been a player for over 30 years, but never a coach. So this is definitely a new, bigger responsibility that is going to be interesting for the next 3 months. So, yeah, I was promoted on my first day. Thanks, Mina. Actually, my old high school coach saw that I had volunteered, signed up as a volunteer, and so she kind of encouraged everybody to, let's put her as head coach. So it'll be interesting, to say the least. Ah, Tracy, yeah, it is a big responsibility. Fortunately, the kiddos are younger, so I just, it's softball, Tracy. I've played softball, oh my gosh, I think almost every single year since the early 1990s. I think the only time that I didn't play, I was pregnant. And I played even when I was pregnant, but more careful. But there were times when I was really big that I just was scorekeeper. I couldn't really get on the field. And then I had my kid and waited a few weeks, and then I joined the team. So I can't remember, maybe once or twice in all of those years since the early 90s have I missed a year of playing softball. So anyway, it'll be fun. I know the game. I just don't remember any of the drills or anything like that. Hi, Barbara. Glad that you can be here tonight. Sorry that you had trouble getting on, though. Zona. Yeah, I like doing little things to make the kitties happy, too. They're just so sweet, and I love them so much. And they are going outside, but it makes me nervous because we have predators up here, and I keep trying to keep them safe as much as I can. So I could just kind of block in this area, but I'm trying to do a little bit of wiggle worm technique and add a little bit of texture in these areas. It is pretty dark, but I think as long as we add in some more extra texture, it'll be okay. Because what I don't want is this hat area to look like just a void. Just a plain, easy, like a consistently burned black void. So that's something that you have to be careful with when burning too dark. Now I know that a lot of these areas in here that we burned a few weeks ago, they need to be a little bit touched up and pushed a little bit darker. So that's something that I will work on as well, is making some of these dark areas just a bit darker as well. Barbara says that Terry and her husband are sick with COVID. Oh dear. Well, we sure miss Terry, and we hope that they are going to be okay. No fun. Hi, Larry. Hi, Val. Oh, Rich, you made a big, you assembled a big cat tree last week. Awesome. Yeah, I've got, I think we have 2 cat trees right now. One I bought 20 some years ago, and it's still holding together okay. And then I just recently got another one for the little ones. And now we have the wall furniture. I haven't really told my husband that I got it yet, but, well, I kind of did. I already told him that I was thinking about getting wall furniture for the cats, so he kind of knew that it was coming in. But I don't think I could install them without it. Barbara, oh, Rich, yours has a hammock on it. That's cool. I think our little cat thing has like some hanging fabric things for them to snuggle into. They had like a drawbridge for the cats, but that made me a little bit nervous. I didn't want them to get hung up or something with the ropes. Lisa, did I use the Walnut Hollow mini shader yet? Yes, I did. I have some thoughts on that, and I am putting together a little report for Walnut Hollow. Oh, speaking of Walnut Hollow, guys, I have a fantastic announcement. I am now officially an affiliate with Walnut Hollow. Something that I've, was wanting to have happen for many, many years now. So I am officially a Walnut Hollow affiliate, and you guys can get a 15% discount on your entire order if you use my new code. And, the code, I get like 10% of the order, which is really, really, really cool. So Minisa15 is your new favorite code. I hope that you guys use that at Walnut Hollow. And again, it's on your entire order, which is really, really cool. So I think they have something going on with points. They're selling points right now. Thanks, Mina. Yes, Minisa15. They don't have the new little pro point yet, whatever they're going to call it. I do have some thoughts on that. They have a great start on it, but there's a couple things that I might suggest. Mina, it did say that it was in capital letters on my screen. I don't know that it is really has to be capital letters, but there's no space, Larry. So Minisa15, all one code. Thanks, guys. Very, very cool. Nice. Yeah, I'm thrilled. I know people have been saying for a few years that it would be good for me to partner with Walnut Hollow, and I agree. I've something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. So, yay, we're here. Okay, Zona, they do have a sale right now on some of their points, but you're gonna wait until my point comes out. Okay, cool. And yeah, it's 15% off, which is really good. That's a really good discount. So, and it helps me as well, which I really appreciate. Yes, Lisa, that is directly through them and their website. So if you go to walnuthollow.com and you put in the, and you guys might test it out for me and just, you don't have to order anything, but just put the code in and see if it works. It should work. And yeah, 15% off your whole order. So very cool. All right, So still just kind of adding some wiggle worm techniques in here to get some light in these dark areas. So yeah, I'm gonna need to spend a lot of time on YouTube to try to figure out what drills they're teaching for softball these days. But I teach a really young age range, so I don't think it's gonna get too technical, which is fine. It'll be fun. And my daughter is supposed to be playing, and she's on crutches right now, so hoping that that'll all work its way out before softball starts in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. So I tell you what, it's a crazy, crazy world. Oh, Vivian, you keep dropping them on the floor. Oh man, I have had the worst damage to my wood burning points by dropping them. Even on a carpeted floor, they get bent up really bad. I've dropped them on concrete. I was working in my mom's garage for several years when we didn't really have a place to live. And so I'm in there either huddled next to a little heater or just baking in the summertime. And on that either hot or cold concrete floor, if you drop one of these things, the points, they just get so toast. Not good. So it's always nice to have a few on hand. All right. So it's looking a little bit like flat, but we'll work on that because it is a little bit darker, I think, back here than it is as we start coming towards the more lit area there. Larry, you played first base in a softball league. Oh, that's awesome. First base is kind of where I'm at right now. Lisa had a question about the use of the discount code. Thank you, Mina. So Lisa, yes, the discount code is directly through walnuthollow.com and their website. Yep. Cool. All right. Hi, Sophie. If she wants in. Yeah, Larry, I really like first base right now. In high school, I played second base and shortstop quite a bit. But I've played pretty much everywhere except for pitcher and catcher over the years. Gonna let the dog in. Give me one moment, guys. Okie dokie. Okay. Lisa, you burned a hole in your wrist beanbag. Oh no, I bet that would go everywhere. Hi, Cynthia. You're working on an eagle. Oh, I saw that. That's awesome. Tracy, your daughter was a catcher for 9 years. Wow, I think that's one of the toughest positions on the team. My knees could never hold out long enough to do catcher. I have not happy knees. So I'm gonna come back down here and darken up this lower area a little. Larry, yeah, shortstop and second base are kind of the areas that I really liked. I even played on the boys' high school baseball team one year, which was really pretty cool. They had to like look at it at the state level to see if I was able to do that, but I was. Softball was a little bit different than baseball, and I was able to actually play as a girl on the boys' high school baseball team. I had to try out. I made it through tryouts, and I was on junior varsities, so I played second base on the boys' baseball team. It was a lot of fun and a great experience, guys. Something that I don't think anybody did until my baseball coach, his daughter, I think, when she finally got old enough, I think she did it too. So just some extra playing time, a lot of fun. So Lisa, Larry says that he glued the beanbag up with super glue. Very good. Larry, I was not very popular with the guys' baseball team. A lot of guys were really mad that and this was back in the mid-90s, so a lot of the guys were really not happy that they had a girl on their team. And I remember we played some other teams, and they would spit on their hands at the end of the game because I was on their team. And they never told me, the guys never told me, but there was like a newspaper article or something. They told the newspaper reporter that the other guys on the other teams would make fun of them and be really mean, and it would make us like fight harder to beat them. Anyway, so they never told me that, but I thought it was really sweet. And so they started to, I don't know, not be as mean. No, they were never mean. I guess I felt more welcome. Eventually, they were never mean. So something that was a great experience and a lot of fun. It wasn't easy, but it was a lot of fun. Looking back on it now, I think it was super cool. Okay, so I've darkened it up a little bit down here. Now you can see how much darker this is than anywhere on his face. I will probably go through and just kind of touch up like we normally do, kind of tweak things here and there to make it look a little bit more balanced. Hi, Val. Thank you. Okay. I'm just making sure that I'm catching everybody here. Cool. Alrighty, so just gonna continue carrying over here on the hat. Actually, you know what? Let me kind of fill in some of these tidbits here, and we'll just kind of break it up a little bit. So that is a difficult subject, is that eagle, Cynthia. I find that eagles are a little bit of a challenge birds. They look so neat when they're done, but all the feathers can be a little bit, I think, overwhelming to burn. So a lot of this area up here is just really textured. So I would go probably lighter value, lighter pressure. Don't push down too hard so you don't really indent the wood. And a lot of just that wiggle worm technique that we've been working on. So this almost looks like another rock, a rock tooth, a tooth rock over here. Kind of funny. Okay. So one of the problems with having 3 wood burners is I rotate between them, and at the end of a session it looks like I've braided the cords down below. I get so tangled. I don't know if you guys have the same challenge. Oh, Cynthia, it's the first time with a bird that you're trying to burn. So what I would really recommend with the feathers is there's generally a pattern, like the way the light falls on each feather. Once you get that in your mind as far as where it's, where the cast shadow is and where it gets darker and where your gradient is and all that, you can kind of replicate it pretty well. But burning feather by feather can always be a little bit of a challenge, I think. Sometimes I'll just sit and study the feathers as far as how they look and how the light plays on them before I start burning. Sometimes if you kind of analyze something like that first and break it down, it definitely helps. Because I'll start burning and then I'm like, oh no, I burned the wrong part of the feather. But that is a nice thing also, is that birds are very forgiving. The feathers can be kind of quite abstract. So if you make a mistake, you're going to be the only person that knows that there was a problem. Not really a problem, but something that you didn't mean to burn. Okay, so I have some of these little chunky highlights that we're just going to tone down a little bit. Oh wow, Val. Val did an eagle wood burning on maple for your stepdad's birthday a few years ago and really enjoyed doing it. He loved it so much that when he passed, your mom buried it with him. Oh wow. I'm so sorry for your loss. I can imagine the maple grain really did add to the eagle. Wow. I've got, I think, cat hair in my eyes, guys. I do apologize for the constant digging. Cats, you gotta love them. You're welcome, Cynthia. I hope that helps. It definitely helps me to kind of analyze something before I burn it and realize how to best approach it. Vivian is asking, when I photograph my work, do I use a specific setting on my camera or do I change them depending on how the darks and lights go? So I'm not very good, Vivian, at taking photos. I'm not a professional photographer. I do, however, know Photoshop really well. I know Photoshop much better than I know my camera. So even though I do have kind of a professional type camera, I don't really mess with the settings. I just make sure that the artwork is in my photo booth box. That's on my Amazon storefront page. And once it's in there, the lighting is pretty consistent because I have tried over the years so many different ways of photographing work for prints. And it seems like they always turn out really bad, or there's a glare, or the lighting is inconsistent. So having a white lined photo box, even if you take cardboard and line it with white paper and then have a nice light source inside of that box, will give you a much better end result for your photos. And then I just put those photos into Photoshop and then manually adjust the darks and the lights is kind of what I do. I wish I could tell you to use XYZ setting, but I think it probably depends on your light and your camera. So it might be a little bit of a trial and error. But having a consistent light, such as a light photo box, is a really big help. And if you can't get or use a photo box, natural light. Some people say natural light is really good. So putting it in a sunny window and allowing the light to just kind of pour on that is pretty as well. But very good question, Vivian. Larry, your cords get tangled too. Yep, it's a little bit of a mess down there. So a lot of this area in here is just some little bit of shading, a little bit of texture, kind of vary the lumps a little bit, make some darker, some a little bit lighter. Val, you need to learn more about Photoshop. You know a few basics, but you're realizing it's a huge benefit to know more. Yes, there's a lot of great resources on YouTube or anywhere that you can get information as far as adjusting the values. If you want to put that specific term in, how to adjust the values in an image. That's where you can pull your darks darker and your lights lighter, and then adjust your midtones. So you basically have 3 sliders, a dark, a light, and a mid-tone, and then you can kind of tweak them from there. So Larry, you're saying that this one over here looks like a factory whistle? Oh, that's cool. It does. I like that. Vivian, yes. So Vivian is saying that you have the same issues, very difficult to get the color and the values close to the original. I agree. You know, I do have some tricks that I've learned over the years that I try to get my projects to look as close to the original as possible. I don't want to maybe create a false representation of my artwork, but I'm trying to get it as close to the original as possible. And it can definitely be a challenge. I've also noticed sometimes you need to pull the yellow out of your image. If you have too much, I'm not even sure what kind of lighting it is, but sometimes you get lighting that looks a little bit yellow, so your wood burnings look yellow. So you can go on to Photoshop and adjust your hue, and it'll say in there as far as what color you want to adjust. And if you find the yellow, just pull the saturation out of the yellow, and that can help as well. I need to figure out how to share my screen and then maybe walk you guys through some of these things. I bet I could. Screen share. Oh, I think I found one. If you guys want me to give you like a little impromptu tutorial on the values in Photoshop and then the saturation, those are pretty quick and I could do that for you. Val, yes, definitely a good search to go by. And I could show you that pretty darn quickly. Tracy says, I like to burn with natural lighting too. You're set up in front of a window, but put them underneath when you're finishing working for the day or two. Ah, yes, the sun will fade the wood and the burn. Everything you got to put like face down behind the furniture and stuff. Okay. Okay, guys, so if we want to just take a brief moment here, but you can see I'm making the undershadow of the hat. It's going to be the darkest in the recesses here. Remember, darks push back, lights pull forward. We have a little bit of a gradation change in here, gradual from dark to light with the hat. So we'll just kind of keep working on that. We have some tidbits in here that are a little bit lighter for more chunky, a chunky appearance. So let me see if I can do that real quick, guys, and just show you. I can pull up one of my old wood burnings. I have 2 screens here. Let me make sure I'm in the right one. And I'm going to minimize the chat and all that for just a little bit so that I can see what I'm doing on Photoshop, and then I'll screen share. And I think I need my keyboard. Oh, sorry, Sophie. But I've adjusted values literally, thousands of times, so this should go pretty well. I'm gonna pull this over here. Come on, over here. So just one moment to help me get set. Let me open a project here really quick. Portfolio. I'll just pull something from my old portfolio. Oh, an in progress photo. What do we have? Okay, this will work. All right. Screen share. Whoa, it got really big, guys. Can you see the screen? I hope you can see the screen. So you should be able to see a freedom fighter really quick. Can you see the screen there? Oh, I think you can. Okay, cool. Alrighty, you can. Okay, I'm gonna go bigger on this because you guys can see the chat now too. All right, so in Photoshop, it looks a little bit odd. Why does it look like this? I don't know. Oh well. Okay, it doesn't look right, but that's all right. So once you open an image like this, what is going on? Stop it. Isn't it fun when like your computer works perfect all the time and then right when you want it to, it doesn't? Okay, so anyway, here's one of my photos. To adjust the levels, you're going to go up to okay, if you can see image at the top, go down to adjustments, come over to levels. Oh, that's what's going on. All my things are over there. Okay. And it'll pull up this little box. So right here we have 3 buttons, dark, midtone, and light. Just making sure you guys can okay, good. So dark, middle, and light. So this is going to be your dark values. So if you take this and you pull it like this, you pull the dark towards the center. See how it makes all the darks darker. Okay, that's a bit too much. So we don't want it that much. On this side, we have this little white triangle. It looks like a little pyramid. If you pull that towards the center, all the lights get really light, kind of overexposed. So the next one is in the middle, and you can take that. That's your midtones. You can either take your midtones lighter, or you can take your midtones darker. So that is kind of how I do my adjustments. So say for example, I opened the photo and it was a little bit overexposed like this. I'll go back up to image, adjustments, levels. Now I can kind of tweak that and say, you know, I really want my darks to be a little bit darker. I really want my midtones to be a bit darker as well. So you can kind of adjust your values based on those 3 things pretty well. So I'm just going to say okay on that. Now the other thing, to take out some of the yellow, we are going to go to image, adjustments, and then down to hue, saturation. I usually do shortcuts, so it's Control U on this one. So image, adjustments, hue, saturation. And it should be on your screen right there. So really quickly, I'm going to say that preset master. If you go to master and you go down to yellows, this is where you can adjust. Say you have too much yellow and it looks like this, all you need to do, I'm going to just click OK. We took the photo and it's too yellow. So image, adjustments, hue, saturation. Now click on master right here, go down to yellows, and you're going to pull the yellow, the saturation down a little bit to make it look more wood-burny. If you take it all the way out, you're going to get a grayscale on that one. So, and this is another great place to make your sepia toned image. That's how I make sepia, is in the hue saturation as well. So I hope that makes sense. That was a real quick little brief thing here. Let me go back to this screen. And right there. Okay. Now I can see your chat. Let me give me just a minute to check on the chat. Okay. Yeah, Tracy, the ring light is very helpful as well. Val has a question. Saying you're not the only one who's with a stockpile of wood for wood burning. Yes, I have a ton of wood for wood burning. I keep them in the basement or in a closet. You got to keep them covered because if they have the sticker right here and they get in the sun, you will bleach everything around the sticker and then you'll have a light spot in the middle of the wood, and I have never found a way to sand it enough to get rid of that. Friends waiting for you. So make sure that you keep them out of the sun as much as possible. They will get bleached. Okay. Val, even throwing a blanket or a towel over your projects, your pieces, will be helpful. Anything to block that UV. Absolutely. Yep, a blanket. Absolutely. Great idea, Steve. So Larry, yes, if you have Lightroom, most programs will allow you to adjust the values. That's what you're going for there, is the values. Tracy, yes, that is Photoshop that I was working in. It's whatever you have to pay for a subscription for these days. I used to use the one that you buy it and you have it, and then, yeah, now everything is a subscription, and it drives me insane. Okay. All right, guys, I hope that helped. It was a little bit brief, but it might give you an idea, whatever program you're using, to pull the darks darker, pull the lights lighter, and maybe take out some of the saturation and the yellowing. Those are my big things as far as wood burning and taking pictures. Okay. Thanks for being here, Michelle. Yeah, quick little Photoshop class, Mina. Okay. All right, well, we'll get back to burning here. Okay. Yeah, Photoshop is really cool. I learned it in high school, and I've just always stuck with it. I can do what I need to do pretty quickly, and I don't have the patience to learn a new program, even if it's free. So I am not happy, but I pay the darn subscription, and I really like being able to edit the photos quickly, the way that I know how to do, and that's where I'm at. Okay, so back to burning the hat here, and just kind of cruising around these little tidbits. I'll work on this for just a little bit more, and then we'll jump back up onto the hat and keep going on that as well. Meta, you've been afraid of Photoshop. Well, I tell you what, it is so much smarter than me. It can do things that I had no idea how to do. I still don't know how to do, but for what limited things that I need to do, that I know how to do, Photoshop just works really, really well. I like it. I've learned all the shortcuts, the keyboard shortcuts, and can really zoom around pretty effortlessly in the program. And I think I have tried a couple others here and there, and it's just too much of a frustration.
Can I vent the Instapot?
What's the clock? What's the timer?
35.
And counting?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Counting up.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Just vent it?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
And anymore, there's a lot of AI generated or AI editing platforms out there that can do a lot of things for you. A lot of them costs money too, so that kind of is stinky. But some of them are great at taking out the background really easily. I used to painstakingly cut out backgrounds many years ago, so that technology is pretty cool. You can get some nifty programs to do certain things. There's autocorrect on some photos. Oh, bye Val. So glad to be here tonight. Thanks for joining. Enjoy your dinner. Yeah, Vivian, you can buy the Photoshop elements in disc form. I got suckered into the... Oh gosh. Photoshop has this really cool feature now to where you can easily replace backgrounds with content awareness. And I tell you what, after painstakingly cutting out stuff over the years, it is a big time saver. So that's why I went with the paid version. And there's a lot more pretty cool tech coming down the line for Photoshop. So I'm sticking with it. I wish you could just buy it though. But if you don't need that feature, definitely look into Photoshop Elements. Alright, so wiggle worm here, back and forth. Just kind of break it up a little bit. Meta, yeah, there is a very big learning curve as well to these programs, and that's why I'm sticking with Photoshop. Because I learned it years ago in high school, and I'm just stuck. I think sometimes it gets harder to learn these new platforms the older that you get. Barbara, you use Content Aware and it's on the disc version. Ah, I need to take a look at that. Let's see. Trying to make sure I don't miss somebody's chat there. Yeah, Vivian, if you go to Amazon.com/shop/woodburning university. I have a photo box on there, on that store that I use. It's really nice. I don't know how much it is now. It's probably a lot more than it was when I got it a couple years ago because everything is more expensive now. But there are some really good photo boxes out there. Barbara, you use Photoshop too. Yeah. 31 years. Wow, on your last job. Yep, Photoshop is... well, I think Photoshop was one of the first of its kind that was able to do some of the more advanced editing features. There's a lot to pick from now. Yeah, Barbara, there's so many out there right now. But I think Photoshop was like the original. Okay, I'm going to just kind of fill this in here a little bit and add some tweaks to it, and then we'll finish up. Hopefully we can finish up the top of that hat. Laura, Corel has also been one of the long-standing, really good software programs as well. Barbara, yep, there's editing on your iPhone now too. I struggle with the iPhone because everything's so small. It can make it a challenge. Estella, am I still working on the angel? Yes, I am. Let me see. And my wonderful husband cut down the boards for the projects, so it's not really big anymore, which is really nice. I think I have the angel one here. that I can show ya. Here we go. So yeah, still working on the angel project. A lot of fun though. I'm really enjoying this one. I love fabric. Not so much portraits, so that face will probably wind up being last to burn. Which is funny because normally I always make sure that I burn the face and the eyes first in case it doesn't turn out. But I'm like really hoping that it'll be okay. But I was so excited to burn the fabric that I just had to dive into that. Thanks guys, it's a lot of fun. Yes, Zona, I will make that pattern available. I'm gonna try to get that piece knocked out soon, and then I'll get that pattern posted. Thank you, Mina. Mina put in the link for the photo light box that I'm using right now. Was that Munchkin? Of course it was. Oh, Zona, I bet you'll do great. It's so fun to try these bigger projects. I think that's one of the reasons that that really helped me to grow as an artist, is to take on a project that I knew I would maybe have some challenges with and struggle with, and just try to push through it anyway. Like even now, that angel project, I can burn fabric. I love fabric. But the portrait part of it is still something that I'm hoping will turn out okay. If it doesn't, I'll be pretty bummed. But it definitely has an element of challenge for me. And so that's what I think has helped me so much to grow as an artist, is to constantly find projects that have some element of a challenge to it. Zona, you're working on the kitten portrait. That's awesome. Aw. Barbara, happy birthday to you and your sweet Maya. Thanks, Laura. I hope it'll turn out all right. Try new textures. Yes, absolutely. Yep, Cynthia, the new projects, just making yourself kind of grow a little bit. And then I'll take a break and I'll burn something that I know that I can do really well. And then I'll go back to a challenge piece, and I'll vary between really big projects and smaller ones. And it's just nice to have that little variety. Okay, so this whole area up here is fairly light. Let's add just a little bit of a definition on the outer edge. I don't know what these are. Maybe they're twigs. They're either twigs or worms growing out of his hat. I don't know. Okay, so we're kind of closing in on the lower part of the hat. As far as blocking it in, there's always room for improvement. There's always tidbits and adjusting and all that we can do. Are all the kitties in?
I don't know where the fat one is, but
Okay.
the three others are right here.
She's probably not out.
Probably not.
Okay. So I need to make a little bit of definition behind that ear. So if we burn the hat behind the ear a little bit darker, it'll make the ear pull forward. So darks push back, lights pull forward. And I haven't tasted it yet, so if you need to season, just go ahead.
Oh man, it looks awesomely wonderful.
Thank you.
Wow.
Okay. So
Big old
just...
chunks of steak.
Yeah, that's that big steak that was a bit too big to...
Cut it up and then throw it back in?
if you want, yeah.
Yeah, because these are huge.
They're big.
I'll cut them up and put them back in.
Okay.
This is awesome.
Okay. So this is a little bit of rough. Thanks, Barbara. Barbara's asking which kitty is the fat one. The fat cat. They can hear you. They're like, Zona says, someone sounds appreciative in the background. They can hear you like getting ready to eat. Zona says the fat one, rolling on the floor, laughing. MAO. Okay, so the fat one is our oldest cat. Her name is Swiper. If you've ever seen Dora the Explorer, yeah, she kind of got that one. Swiper, no swiping. She likes to hit everybody except for the kids. So Swiper is quite old and quite fat. So she's the grumpy one that you never see on camera. All right, guys.
Oh, this steak is falling apart, huh?
Oh, good, because it was too tough. I couldn't see us putting that on the grill because it was...
It's falling. I don't need a knife. All you need is a spoon.
That's amazing. I couldn't even hardly cut it with a knife.
Oh, it is perfect now.
Nice. So that Instapot, we were given an Instapot, and it's so great for especially those tougher cuts of meat. We had a big old buy one, get one free steak, which is always kind of sketchy. So I went to cut it up to put it on the grill to have him grill it, and it was so tough. I couldn't hardly get through it. So I'm like, I'll save it. We'll just put it in the Instapot. So it's doing better now.
Yeah, this is awesome.
All right. Okay, so I kind of blended that little transition there on the hat a little bit. Tracy, your boxer? Oh, he's not feeling, or they are not feeling well. His heart. He has a murmur. Oh dear. I hope he's going to be okay. Zona, you love the Instapot too. Yeah. I had about 30 minutes to make dinner tonight. So I just threw everything in the Instapot. Okay, so this little fellow, I like how he's looking. That's a pretty good representation of it. His hat's very crumbly and chunky. I will like to darken up some of the features of his face just so it kind of blends in a little bit better. But let's jump up here to the top of the hat. I'm going to probably turn this sideways so I can burn a little bit faster, and I will probably prop that up for you, and we'll zoom in. So we're going to be burning across the grain, which can be a little bit of a challenge. Thanks, guys. Yeah, the hat is a lot of fun. I just love it. That's my favorite part about this project is the hat. Oh, I gotta do the other thing. Menu. Come on. No. Okay. Awesome, guys. Thanks, Laura. Yep, I like the hat. Tracy, the Instapot is great. Try making the crack chicken? Huh. That sounds pretty cool. right. So let's slide this a little bit that way and try to get you guys a little bit more of the hat. Okay. So, all right, I think I'll probably stay with the little pro point and see what I can do. Sometimes I notice burning cross grain, the pro point, it doesn't blend nearly as smoothly as the old shader point. Of course, I have burned with that old shader point for years, and it's just everything's really soft about it. So if your points are not blending very smoothly, like you see what I'm doing here, just sand them down. Turn them off, let them cool, and hit them with a really, really fine grit sanding paper. In fact, I don't even like the sanding paper, like the piece of paper with the sand on top. Even if you get fine grit, it still, I think, scratches. So I don't really like that. Like this. Even though this is, oh my gosh, 600. It's very fine grit sandpaper. It's overall pretty stiff. So if you get these little tiny pieces of paper with the sand on one side and the paper on the other side, even fine grit sanding paper, it'll scratch these brass points. So make sure that you get something really soft and fluffy, like the M-Jump sanding pads, where they're soft and squishy on the backside. It'll be so much better to sand your points. Yeah, like these guys right here. Nice and squishy. Tracy, you like how the projects turn out looking better than the original? Cool. The little tweaks that I do to certain areas. I agree. And I think that that's one reason that I don't worry about wood burning exclusively off of reference photos. I know some people think that that's not true art and you have to come up with your own composition, and that's cool. And if you can do that, that's really great. Not all of us can just come up with our own compositions all the time, and we need more of a reference photo. So even though I work from the reference photos, I can still look for little areas to improve. And that's those little tweaks that you're talking about. So I encourage you guys to do the same thing. And if you see something that looks a little bit off about your reference photo or whatever image that you're using, don't be afraid to adjust it. Keep in mind some of our general rules that we like to talk about, especially value and texture. Those are the biggest things, guys. If your values are off, it's going to look flat. If your textures are off, it's going to look flat. So bump those darks. Don't be afraid to push your darks darker than it might show on the reference photo. Just go for it. Push them back. Pull those lights forward and just get that lovely sense of dimension in there. Dimension, not dementia. Vivian, do I use a leather strop? No, I don't. Normally, I don't mess with the points when they're hot. If they do acquire a little bit of carbon, I'll just set them off to the side and let them kind of cook off. When that no longer works, and there's a lot of dark carbon on there that I just can't seem to get off, I'll turn the points completely off, let them cool, and then hit them with a really, really fine grit sandpaper, like those M-Jump pads. Whenever the burner is hot, I think the only thing that it should come in contact with is the unfinished wood. I'm a little bit afraid to take a hot point and rub it against sandpaper or Levi jeans. Some people do that, or leather while it's hot, because I don't know how that leather was tanned. Is it vegetable tanned leather, or is it chemically tanned leather that's pretty common these days with a lot of hard chemicals in it? I don't know. unless you tan the leather yourself. I would be kind of cautious as far as using a leather strop with a hot point. Who knows what dyes and chemicals are in blue jeans. Again, you don't really want to burn into that. Sandpaper is glued onto a piece of paper. What's the glue? I don't know. So generally, I don't mess with the points unless they're off and cool. And then I'll just be real gentle and sand them down. Anyway, that's me. I know a lot of people do different things, and that's totally okay. Cynthia, oh, you got the M-Jump pads off the site. Awesome. I love them. I just love them. I used to use 3M, these little purple pads that if you've seen some of my old YouTube videos, I use these. But they discontinued them, so I found the M-Jump pads instead. No, no. No, no. No. Hi. Everybody say hi, Bobby. Come on, you can't be there. Bobby is trying to walk all over my wood burners. Again. Okay, guys. But I know a lot of that's all very good questions, guys, because I know a lot of other artists talk about using a leather strop or just brushing it against sandpaper, even a wire brush. These points are so sensitive. I think that to hit them with a wire brush is almost kind of abuse. But that's my call. I don't want micro fissures. I don't want gouges in this point because when you go across the wood, it can scratch the point as well, or it can scratch the wood. So just be really, really careful as far as how you treat your brass points. You drop them on the carpet, boom, they're done. Drop them on the concrete, they're really done. Barbara, you used some folded denim. Okay. Have you ever smelled anything unusual as far as the denim? I'm just a little bit leery of anything like that. Oh, Larry, yeah, you've kind of abused the point with the wire tips or the brass. What am I saying? The wire brush on the brass points. Yeah. Zona, I love it. Zona said pss, 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 and she spelled it out. Bobby tried to jump on the burners, so Zona.
You pussed the cat.
Yeah, Zona, we pussed the cat as well. That's the general. Pss, pss, pss. Okay, so this whole little funny hat thing here is very unique. I'm going to darken up these veins just a little bit more. So Laura, you clean the wire tips with a leather strap, but only when they're cold. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I agree. Barbara, you don't smell anything with the denim, but you use real denim. Okay, good. Okay, so Zona, you do a lot of like wire brush, sanding, and then polishing. Okay, cool. Very good. I know a lot of people just love their different ways that they do these. Tracy, you bought your razor tip from Treeline and they recommended the wire brush, which ruined your tips. Oh, yeah, I've been there too, and I've tried those things. I have like, this thing that came with razor tip, and it's a pretty aggressive little contraption. I have it in a drawer somewhere, but I found that it was really damaging to the point and put in big gouges. And then I would try to burn, and it would put those gouges would like scratch into the wood. So Zona says the best car sticker she ever saw. Zona, I'm assuming, the best car sticker Zona ever saw is tell your cat I said pss, 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 pss. Oh, I love it. Yeah, Zona, there was a scraper that came from Razor Tip, and it really damaged my points. So, I don't know. Some people love those things. I've not really had very good luck with them. So, all right, I'm going to jump up here and try to keep going. I find that, like we've talked about before, sometimes I tend to avoid certain areas, and I just need to jump in here. So I think this is still on high. It is. I'm going to turn the pro point down to where the orange meets the red, and that'll help a little bit. So when I tend to avoid areas, it's usually because I might be burning too hot or too cool, and it's just not really working very well. So switching points, switching temperatures can make the difference on that. So now I can get in here. I'll finish up this little cap, mushroom cap. So Vivian, yeah, Vivian has a point. Vivian says, I know some people use strainers to clean the tip, but I would think it would also damage them. I agree. I actually even put it in my book. One of my books that I was using, one of these little tea, it's a little tea strainer. Now, big red flag is, good night, Zona, thanks for being here. One of the big reasons this is a no-no is because there is a plastic edge to it, so make sure you don't get near the edge. This wire strainer is pretty fine mesh, so it's pretty gentle, but still, I find that if you just be a little bit patient, turn the point off, and then you can manipulate it and sand it how you need to. I think sometimes we get in a little bit of a rush and we try to clean these things to keep going when we should maybe get up, stretch our legs, take a break, and turn it off and just process that point and sand it down when it's cold. But it also depends on what kind of wood that you're working on, because some woods just gunk up a little bit faster. They make your points yucky a little bit faster than others. And in that case, I rotate through my burners. If I have 3 of them on there and I'm using all shading points, I'll just rotate between them. And that gives each point, you know, anywhere from 10 to 20, 30 minutes to burn off the original carbon. So I try to sand these as little as possible. It can make your points smaller over time. It can put gouges, and otherwise just make it a little bit more challenging. Because I get stuck with one shading point and I won't switch for years and years. And then when I do switch, I'm kind of grumpy because I have to kind of relearn the sweet spots in that point. So we definitely have, look at this wood grain going on through here. It's pretty cool. But if you don't like that wood grain, you can always burn in between the grain. Oh, kind of, if you go sideways, turn the wood, it makes it easier. Kind of like this, and you can burn in between the wood grain. It definitely helps smooth things out. Makes it look a little bit less noticeable. And you can do the same thing in here. Thanks, Meta. So glad that you are here. Have a great weekend. Larry, no, I did get your, Larry says that you submitted an image for the gallery. Yes, I got that. I think Angela, I think you sent some things too, and so did Butch. Some really cool stuff. So I just need to get those posted. Tracy, I agree that every point is different, even though it's the same point. Yeah, it drives me crazy. And that's one of the reasons why I really don't like to switch out the points. Once I have one that I really like, I just stay with it until I do something stupid and drop it on the floor and it's toast. So just really trying to burn in between the grain here. You can still see it, although it's not near as different. Yeah, Angela, I did. I got that. Cool. No, it's not too big, Larry. I can change the file size and all that. It'll work. With this whole new getting recruited to be a coach, which I didn't plan on doing, it's definitely putting more on my plate than I had planned. So I will get those uploaded. It turned out great, Larry. I love that one that you did. So just burning in between the grain can really knock that down and make it a little bit more, or less noticeable, a little bit less noticeable, a little bit smoother. You can still see it a little bit. All right. Thanks, guys. You know, it's funny how you have kind of a goal for life and then you just get sideswiped. But that's okay. I think it makes us grow as people. Alright, so let's try to blend in a little bit more of this lighter stuff up here at the top. This is a little bit larger of a project. Although, as you guys have seen all these little tiny tiny details, I don't know that I would really want to burn this project a whole lot smaller than I did. And it's like 8 by 11, I think. But there's so many fun details with the hat and everything that I think this is a pretty good size. Those windows were really tiny. Thanks, Larry. Thanks, Barbara. All right, little blending here. And if you don't want to blow on the point, just turn it down a little bit. Sometimes I like to just kind of temperature adjust as I go and just blow on the point and not mess with the dial. All right, let's darken this up a little bit behind the... I think this is my favorite little pod on his hat. It's just so fun. Lisa is asking, have I ever burned a Highland cow? No, I haven't. I've done like the dogs with the real long hair that comes over their face to where you can hardly see their face. I've done that, which is similar with the long fluffy fur, but I think I actually have some saved reference photos for a Highland cow because I thought those would be really cool. But I have not, so it sounds like a lot of fun. So let's kind of darken up this area here and bring it up. Don't forget your layering. Your layering is just so great for that smooth shading. I think it would be fun, guys, to wood burn a Highland cow. Barbara, one of your neighboring farms has one that you hope to get reference photos of. Oh, that's cool. Vivian, next project, the Highland cow, hint, hint. Oh, I don't know, guys. I think the next project is going to be maybe something simpler. Just a little bit. Maybe we'll do a couple simple ones, and then we'll dive back in. But, you know, it's up to you guys. What do you want to do? Something that we usually, a yak. Rich, you want to wood burn a yak? They're kind of the same. Similar furry creatures? A creature? So I usually try to mix it up between advanced and more simple patterns, but it really is up to you guys as far as what you want to do. Because a Highland cow would definitely be more along the lines of realism and a little bit more of a complicated subject matter. I don't think we need to make one this big. What does a Highland cow look like? That's a great question, Larry. I think the ones that I've seen are kind of like reddish, but I think they can come in different colors, and they've got, you know, horns. And they're a moo cow, but they have really long, shaggy fur. Like long fur that usually comes over their eyes, and you can't really see their eyes, and they have these cute little soft noses. It does look like an elephant. Look at that with the trunk. That's cool, Vicky. Yeah, Larry, Google it. The Highland cow. I'm assuming they're from Scotland, like those Highlands guys.
They're cute.
They are. They're pretty cute. They're just soft and fluffy and very shaggy, and they can't usually see where they're going. They're still cute. Okay, so they do come from Scotland, Barbara. Okay, I was thinking. All right, we'll darken up some of the areas down there. Let me maybe turn this a little bit. I'm malfunctioning with my gloves. Rich is saying an alpaca. Ooh, that's like a llama. Hey guys, look at this hat. This is coming together. Okay, so from this angle, I'm going to, let's finish that, and let's finish this, and maybe some soft blending. But isn't it interesting how, look how dark this is right here, but when we were working on it over here, it looks so faded. I'm sure you guys have noticed that when you get the wood in different lighting, it either looks lighter or darker. It's pretty cool. Barbara, you want to do a wood burning of your little Welsh cardigan corgi. Oh, how fun. Yeah, Larry, they have great bangs. Those Highland cows. All right. Thanks, guys. This is fun. This is really a lot of fun. I just fell in love with this guy's hat. I think it was so cool. Have you guys seen those people that create items out of, like, there's somebody on the internet that could make a real hat like this. complete with the little wooden structures and all that. I think that'd be so cool. They'd glue moss onto it and little rocks. I don't know what you would call that, but like a three-dimensional clothing artist? I don't know. But I think that'd be really neat to actually see a real hat like this. With moss and twigs and rocks. The little knot is the eye. Oh, okay, cool. Tracy, you want a Highland cow. Aw. Vivian, you're suggesting a Tibetan Mastiff. That's a big dog, right? Huh? Is a Tibetan Mastiff. Is that a big dog?
A mastiff?
A Mastiff.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big dog.
That's a
Okay.
big dog.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'd have to look at a picture of that one.
That's like bigger than a Rottweiler.
Ah. But are they more fluffy? Because Rottweilers don't usually have a lot of
They're
fluff.
I don't know. But
Mastiff.
They're big like a Rottweiler.
I know I would recognize one if I saw the picture. Thanks, guys. Lisa is saying you could do a simple Highland cow with flowers around the horns, kind of like the cute owl in your patterns. It's less realistic, but still very cute. I like that idea. Very cool. Yeah, sometimes I get kind of blocked in with the realistic stuff, but we could make it more stylized. I like that. And then we could incorporate the flowers for springtime. I think that sounds fun. Rich is suggesting a sea otter on his back floating. Cool. He's got to hold something in his paws. What would he hold in his paws if we did a sea otter? I think everybody's kind of leaning towards the Highland cow. That's fine. Steve says a lowland gorilla. Lisa, I was thinking about a heart too. Have an otter hold at a heart. That's exactly what I was thinking. But other ideas are always welcome. So a lowland gorilla, Steve. I'd have to look into that one too. I've seen some really cool wood burnings of gorillas. Some people have done just amazing jobs with those. Very expressive. Alrighty. Okay, so we do have a little bit of a reflected highlight on the mushroom cap. So we'll try to burn around that. Barbara says either a shell in the otter's paws or a seaweed. Cool. Oh, Rich, now you're onto it. Rich says a wood-burning university pendant in the otter's paws. Now you're talking. We get a little promotion in that one too. Oh, that's always good, guys. Oh, it's kind of dark. Sorry, I'll come back down this way. A Tibetan Mastiff looks like a bear. Oh my gosh, Lisa, that's pretty cool. Larry says, make the gorilla look fierce like King Kong. That'd be pretty cool. Might be scary. So let's see. I think I need to shade a little bit more underneath this mushroom cap. It's a little bit too bright. Let me tone that down with the lower temp burner. I'm just like really blurry tonight. Sorry, guys. A Rocky Mountain Sasquatch, Steve. You're still wanting to do that one. That sounds fun. I don't know. I've lived in the Rocky Mountains my entire life, and I've never seen a Sasquatch. Not to say they're not true, though. I love your ideas, guys. It's so fun. It's like a think tank here. Okay, so that kind of toned it down a little bit. Even my highlight is a little bit bright. Okay, so we're still getting some reflected light, but all of this is under shadow, so I think it's looking pretty good. All right, let's take care of this little bright spot and go from there. Oh, Larry, now you're talking the Loch Ness Monster. We got a lot of votes for Sasquatch in there. Larry, something interesting. Loch Ness, the lake. And okay, so I'm going to backtrack here for a second. The coolest thing is I've always been drawn to like Scottish stuff my entire life. I really like that whole era. It reminds me of a past life, if you could say. And I've never known why. And so I watch movies like, oh gosh, what was it? With a little boy in Loch Ness, and he rides it during the war. Anyway, I watched movies like that and Braveheart and all these wonderful Scottish movies, and I just love it, and I'm drawn to it. Well, a few years back, I did my genealogy and figured out that my family actually owned, at one point, the castle that is sitting on the edge of Loch Ness. Isn't that amazing? I couldn't believe it. So I think it's, and I have a lot of, obviously, Scottish heritage. So, yeah, I was like so amazed. I'm like, okay, well, that's why I just love Scottish stuff, and I don't know why. My ancestors owned the castle on Loch Ness. It's really cool. It's a weird word like Urquhart or something like that. Castle. It starts with a U. I should go and claim it. Oh, guys, I would love to. I think somebody came in and bombed it, and they took over.
Are you an idiot?
They took. We heard that. Well, anyway, so long time ago, somebody else took over the castle. But at one point, my ancestors owned the castle on Loch Ness. Or so the the ancestry thing says. I know. Well, I was Clan Grant. My maiden name is Grant. So Clan Grant had the castle on Loch Ness there for a time. Of course, over eons, my gosh, everybody, you know, a lot of people can trace their lineage back to those olden times. And yes, I was a big time in Ireland as well. A lot of family in Ireland and Scotland and England and all those things. Okay, so I'm just kind of massaging some of these areas here. The hat's looking pretty good. We have these little patterns yet to burn. So let me scooch this over without tearing the paper. Oh gosh, Rich, I would love to visit Scotland. It's not a very safe place to go right now, so I'll have to wait until hopefully the world settles down and isn't super crazy. But I would love to go. We could have like a wood burning summit at Loch Ness. Wouldn't that be the coolest thing in the world? Awesome. So Barbara, that's cool. I'd love to hear more about, there you go. Clan McNabb and Watson. And a dose of Irish. Oh, cool. Cool. Like we're neighbors, Barbara. Oh, isn't it fun to look back into the histories? All right. Oh, Barbara, to do a wood burning of the castle. Yep. And how do you, I don't know how you say it. Urquhart? court. I don't know. It was pretty cool. That's really cool, Angela. Yeah, isn't it neat how we get drawn to certain time frames throughout history? I have a few different time frames that I'm really drawn to. And it's like, I don't know why. And then you do some research. It's like, oh, that's probably why. Ah, oh, Larry, you think your ancestors came from Holland. Very cool. So I don't really have very good flower pattern around this, so I am going to try to make that a bit more defined. I completely messed that one up, but it's a flower on a hat, so I don't really think it matters. We're just going to give them a few patterns here. And just a nice light shading over the top. And maybe a few petal, really light marks like that. And if they disappear, just burn them in again. It's always fun to see how things just disappear here. All right, there we go. One little flower down. Oh, how fun, Barbara. It is. It's super neat to kind of think about, you know, history, and just think about every little thing that had to happen exactly right for you to be here on Earth at this time. I think it's just so fascinating and definitely purpose-driven. I think we are all here for a purpose. I mean, just seriously, the odds of us being alive, any one of us right now at this exact same time, based on everything that your ancestors went through and what decisions they made, I think it's all pretty darn fascinating. You know, if they stubbed their toe that day, or if they didn't, it can completely change how your life may have unfolded throughout the eons. All right, so that's cool. We kind of pushed those little flower patterns back a little bit and kind of tied them in. I just want a little bit of soft blending right in here. Oh gosh, I love your chat, guys. Vivian, your ancestors were from Italy. Very cool. Yeah. Everybody, you know, has a different path in life, and why we leave one area or go to another is usually probably not for, you know, it doesn't usually start out very good, why we go on these big life changes. But anyway, we're so glad that you're here. But seriously, think about all your ancestors and the odds that all of us right now are in this chat on the internet visiting about this. And we're, you know, probably thousands of miles apart. It's just really amazing how life works out. And to think what your ancestors would think today of us having this online chat across the world, using electrical tools. I find it just so cool. Oh gosh, yeah, Larry, but Princess Diana, yeah. I think that was so tragic. The loss of Diana. Yeah. We're very glad that you're here, Vivian. Oh, okay. You don't want to mention your last name if you go back to Italy. Very interesting. All right, so the hat's coming along. I do think we need to darken up a little bit down here. I might try to do that really quick. Yeah, it's all pretty cool. Wow, Barbara, that's interesting. I think I remember that, but I don't remember it. That Diana and Mother Teresa both died in the same week. Beverly, good night. Thanks so much for being here. So I'm going to darken up this transition here just a little bit more. Angela is asking, could I imagine living in the time your ancestors lived in the castle? Absolutely. I think that's where I was, like, yeah, not very long ago. I still have a lot of, like, ties to that somehow. So, yes, the question, absolutely. So just, I want a little bit more of a transition across the top of this, but we're getting really close. We have a few minutes here. I'll jump down to the bottom area and we'll work on some of his shirt and try to get that laid out. Guys, did you even think that we would have like a philosophical, deep conversation tonight? Oh, Beverly, so glad that you could drop in. We miss you. Yeah, life is so busy right now. I hope the rest of your week goes really well. Good night, Laura. Thanks again for being here. Just like staring at the screen. I'm trying to keep up on the chat here. Rich, will any color be added to the piece? Oh, I don't know. That's a good question, Rich, because everything about this guy screams green, and green is, I don't know how compatible it really is with wood burning values. A lot of times I like to go with more warmer colors. Reds, yellow is great. Yellows are good. More kind of subtle stuff. But this guy could just go completely crazy green. Oh, let me finish these two tidbits here. So I don't know. I would say if you do want to add color to this one, I would recommend probably going with thin washes of watercolor or acrylic. I would do acrylic. Thin washes of acrylic paint, because that can kind of blend out a little bit better than colored pencil. I made this image quite dark, not forecasting the option for adding color. Generally, if I want to add bright color like this, I would go and burn everything a little bit less dark. That's a very good question. You can have like a blast on this one, guys. So Larry, you like to see the wood grain on the hat. Cool. No, it's totally up to you. It varies as far as what I do and when I like to see the wood grain. It does add a lot of character, Tracy. I just like to show people that you can kind of buff that out if you want to. Something like this project where it's very fun and different, you can totally leave the wood grain in there. What was that?
A cat.
I think they killed the box. So we need to you want to put a pillow on the box? They're falling through the box.
Okay. Those cats are up there.
yeah, a fun piece like this, leave the wood grain. If you want to do a portrait and you don't want that grain pulling through the face, then go ahead and you can just kind of buff it out like I did there. Just burn in between the grain. Okay, so this is a lot of fun. Something right off the bat, though, this the very first thing that we burned up here is a little bit bright, I think, but we can kind of work on that a little bit later. All right, so let's go down here to his shirt and see if we can't kind of put that in. Unless you guys want to burn the hand first, and we can do the shirt. Or are you like, let's just burn the shirt and not really do much? I keep trying to wipe a piece of hair off of the wood, and it's on the screen. All right, shirt or hand? What are we going for, guys? His nose is definitely crazy, isn't it? All right. All right, so I see 3 hands, 1 shirt. Oh, we're coming up on a tie, guys. Hand, 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 shirt. Okay, let's jump and let's do that hand here. Because this hand is going to be pretty abstract. We'll just kind of go down into this area here. And, all right. I think this will go pretty quick. The hands have it. Okay. So we're going to start with this really funny shaped fingernail. It is... Everything down here is pretty dark, so if you don't get it just right, it's not going to be the end of the world. Just really try to keep soft edges as much as you can. Remember the focal points, we want more hard edges a little bit. As we get away from the focal point, like the eyes, we can loosen up the style a little bit. Okay, next we're going to pick out the areas in between the fingers are going to be some of the darkest areas, so let's put those in next. And then, let's see, just following in some of these darker sections here. Keep everything just as abstract as you can possibly think about it. I'm not burning knuckles, I'm just burning a really odd-shaped dark chunk. And I think that is the best way to create realism. Follow your reference photo and match the shape, match the value, match the texture, and you've got it. I think sometimes we overthink things. Looks like he's wearing a ring on there, so we'll have a little bit of a more definitive edge around that and a nice highlight. And this is kind of a shadow up on top of this knuckle. Excuse you. I said bless you.
Oh, that was the...
Bless you, excuse you.
It was a hiccup.
I know. It's a really loud hiccup.
Oh,
Okay, so when we want to add in, good night, Butch. Thanks for being here. So to help make this look a little bit rounded, let's add darker areas in here where this crease is, where one finger kind of folds towards the other one, and it'll be lighter up towards the top and then a touch darker on the outer edge. And that'll help create that rounded appearance. And make sure that you follow the curvature of the finger, and that'll make it look a little bit more true as well. But all of this area is going to be in shadow, so we don't want a whole lot of bright highlights. So something that I could do, guys, is I could add like some white colored pencil to this guy. It would definitely bring out some highlights in the beard and all that. I guess what would you like to do as far as finishing up this project? We do need to finish the shirt a little bit. So I guess what would you like to see happen with the project? Do you want to see color? Do you want to just see some white colored pencil? Do you want to finish this project and then move on to another one? Let me know. And I will try to plan out what you guys would like. Not sure if these are highlights. I don't know. I'm gonna make them darker. See, you guys are saying white colored pencil. Ooh, maybe just some pale green for his eyes. That might be kind of cool too. Just kind of pull out some green in the eyes. He would definitely have green eyes. So a general overall shading on this finger here. And then blend the shadow upwards. Okay, so he's got kind of knobby little fingers. Let's see what we can do to blend out this a little bit. And if you wind up making fingers over here that look, I don't know, a little bit weird or something, just make them darker and they will not be as noticeable. Vivian, you want to see it finished? Cool. Cynthia would like to see white colored pencil. Lisa says white pencil to the beard would be nice and a little green to the eyes. Cool. So let's darken up the area here down in between the fingers just a little bit more and pull some of that darkness up and around. Good night, Mina. Thanks so much for being here tonight. I really appreciate it, all you guys. He has wee wobbly fingers, Barbara. I agree. It's like he's been digging in the dirt for a long time. All right, we'll kind of just darken him a little bit. Well, I think that's a pretty good start. And again, if it causes problem, or digging for gold, there you go. If you don't like the way it looks, just chop the board. Just chop it off right there and make... Or you know what you could do is turn that into a rock. You could turn it into like a rock, like he's hiding behind a rock. So these fingers are very abstract. They're not very pretty to begin with. So if you struggle with that, don't worry about it. Turn it into a boulder. He's hiding behind a boulder. And that might be what's down here in front is a little bit of a, I think it might be bark, but you can just darken a lot of that and make it work. So. Awesome, guys. All right. Well, thank you. Oh, I have hiccups. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I think I'm about zoomed out as far as I can. Alrighty. Oh, look at that hat. That is so fun. I love it. All right, guys. Well, I think, let me think about it as far as what to do next. Next week, I think we'll probably finish up the shirt, maybe make a few tweaks to it, and maybe add some, we need some, still a little bit of smoke right there. And I don't know, just have some fun with this one. So thank you guys for joining me on this one. It's been a lot of fun, so many different textures, and just really, really unique project. So, all right, everybody, you have a wonderful and safe week, and I will see you guys next week. All right, good night.